Dulcinea, a young girl from the Duchy of Canaria, was taken hostage by the Empire at the age of 12, who became the Crown Prince's wife. The Crown Prince was in a foul mood due to Reinhardt's arrival at the palace. Despite rumors of him being stabbed, Michael feared his regret and planned to lay her ex-wife's head on a scaffold. He remembered a gift for Dulcinea, an expensive jewelry, to wear at a reception honoring Reinhardt. Despite not being invited, he wanted her to show Reinhardt how well she reigned over her as the new crown princess. The imperial family, including Michael and his wife, gathers at an official meeting place. The prince orders Dulcinea to look forward, but she ducks her head. Lord of Luden arrives, and Dulcinea is astonished to see her husband's ex-wife. She finds Reinhardt's crown and jewelry she was wearing and is unsure how to look at Reinhardt, who has lost everything. Dulcinea feared Reinhardt, causing Michael's anger. She didn't wear any jewelries but rather a mourning dress to show that she was here to take her father's corpse. She was summoned by the emperor to congratulate her on becoming the great head of the lands but not to reinstate her status as Marchioness Link. Despite being introduced as the Viscountess, Reinhardt did not react to the emperor's belittlement, demonstrating her honorable status. Wilhelm bowed and praised by the emperor for his impressive achievements at 20. He asked about his mother's death and his father. Reinhardt evasively declined discussing it in the hall, fearing it could weaken one family. The emperor then addressed the girl as Marchioness Link and prophesied quick and productive negotiations for Marquis Link's territories. Prince Michael was surprised by the emperor's actions. The crown prince is unaware of the event and believes it is a bait to restrain Reinhardt. Michael is angry and resentful, and Reinhardt plans to show Michael what real hell is like. The lord leaves the hall and invited to tea. Reinhardt is asked by Aelin for Naha's adjutant for payment for Luden taking Glench's soldier asking for the crystal, but she still needs it to prove the kinship between Wilhelm and the emperor. Reinhardt must show the crystal. She told him in riddle that she will provide more convincing proof than the crystal. Wilhelm advises Reinhardt to take him with her to protect her in case the emperor might do to kill her and will naturally end Luden authority. She asked him if he desired to become the emperor's son. Wilhelm admits he's unsure, but prefers to leave it up to Reinhardt. Reinhardt blushes and causing her to struggle with him. They attend a tea party and the emperor greets them courteously. He told Wilhelm to sit with them. Reinhardt was anxious as she didn't teach him etiquette, but Wilhelm refused to sit with high nobles. She was shocked to his response. The emperor declared the return of Reinhardt's rights to the Marquise, including her father's body. He requested the birth certificate of her knight, which Reinhardt personally gave. The knights near the emperor were wary of her, as she had stabbed the crown prince's leg. The birth certificate is forged. What's more important is the crystal inside to build a special trust with the emperor. Reinhardt was tired and exhausted. She wondered how Wilhelm knew about his relationship with the emperor. Reinhardt ordered Mark to leave them alone. Wilhelm asked if it was okay for Reinhardt to be alone with a man late at night, but Reinhardt didn't care as long as her conscience was clear. The knight pushed the girl on the bed, revealing that the child in his face had grown up. She jokingly apologized but asked about how he knows about his blood ties. Wilhelm dismisses her and told her that child don't like an overly nosy parents, leaving the room. Reinhardt dismisses his feeling as she believes she's the only woman he knows, and she can't bind him just only by an abstract love that is too fleeting for her. Wilhelm is thinking he shouldn't confess his feelings, then suddenly is called out by a woman with a sword. Dulcinea recognizes the knight with Luden's head. The knight kneels before the crown prince's wife. Dulcinea reassures her knight that the knight might not know the palace's intricacies. She felt a warmth on her heart as she looked someone bowing to her. Dulcinea asks the knight to leave the garden for her, as it was her only pleasure. The girl's heart beats due to the man's understanding of her wishes. Dulcinea and Celia move away, but Dulcinea is embarrassed and throws her handkerchief on the grass, while Wilhelm picks it up. On the day of the banquet, the Knights of Luden changed into their ceremonial clothes, leaving Reinhardt to put on the prepared robes. She ordered Glench's adjutant to be summoned. She showed a personal information about a skilled professional in the capital and asked Aelin to track him down. Aelin warned her he will report all to Margrave of Glentia. She was aware as Reinhardt wanted the Margrave to believe Luden was strong without Wilhelm. Wilhelm had never shown his face to Reinhardt since leaving her room, but she decided to leave him alone to prepare for her revenge. She regrets having no confidant and remembers Dietrich. Reinhardt whispers his name, and Wilhelm remembers their first meeting. Reinhardt's sympathy and courteousness towards him make him jealous. Reinhardt rushes to Ernst's coffin, but the knight grits his teeth in anger. Wilhelm interrupts her and asks about her meeting with Alzin, leaving Reinhardt to ask if he is now behaving as the master and command him to close the door. Wilhelm tried to apologize, but she cut him off and asked if Wilhelm wants to become a prince. Reinhardt agrees to call him His Highness, but he will no longer be anyone on her life and cannot become one of her family. The knight protested against being called a prince and apologized to Reinhardt. He handed her a jewelry box for the banquet, but she focused on a crucial issue. Reinhardt admitted she didn't trust Wilhelm, who had been hiding secrets. She believes his actions were not part of her plan as she was waiting for Michael to ascend the throne while gaining power. Reinhardt never thought of giving him her heart, as Wilhelm only seen her as a tool rather than a love interest. She told Wilhelm that it is easy to accept his affection and starts pushing him onto the bed, unbuttoning his shirt and her dress. She believes he is the only weapon she has left, and if Wilhelm wants to get her, he must get her now. Wilhelm is blushing, but she is waiting for his decision to make a deal with her or leave things as they were. Wilhelm asks Reinhardt if she can love him back after her revenge. He adjusts Reinhardt's clothes and assures her of his love, even pushing her away. The girl blushes slightly, feeling a newfound love that is different from her past experiences with Dietrich or her ex-husband, thinning that they cannot go back. In the meantime, when Dulcinea was washing her husband's foot, Empress Castria appeared in their bedroom, pushed Dulcinea away, and asked how the prince was feeling. She convinced him not to worry too much about Reinhardt, as he would eventually become emperor. She asked her son to wait a bit, as when he became emperor, he would show them hell. During the reunion, Reinhardt's mockers struggled to greet her at the banquet. The Empress saw Wilhelm kneeling, feeling déjà vu. The Emperor called the new knight, Wilhelm Krona, and the Empress was shocked. She had ordered the Krona family to be burned and Michael understood nothing. The Emperor said nothing in reply. The Empress on the other hand wailed. When Michael asked her why her mother had reacted so violently, she said that Krona was the surname of a woman who had once been the Emperor's lover. Dulcinea, who had also heard her mother-in-law's words, looked in surprise at Wilhelm, who turned out to be His Majesty's illegitimate son. Reinhardt and her knight are called to the balcony by the Emperor, who questions who gave the name Wilhelm to his son. Reinhardt lies about the biological mother giving it to him. The Emperor is aware of Reinhardt's connection to her adopted father and her hatred for his death. The Emperor asks if Michael's foot is enough for Reinhardt but Reinhardt insists on Michael's life. The Emperor had two sons, one of whom was the lame son of the woman who killed the Emperor's lover and the other, the Empire's own. He was willing to do anything for his son even though he was being used by Reinhardt. In return, Reinhardt would wear the princess crown. She was shocked while Wilhelm blushed. Reinhardt was upset by the old man who claimed that Wilhelm and Luden were in a relationship. The Emperor was curious about the reason for the knight's devotion to Luden. He ascertained the truth of the rumors by looking at the reaction of Wilhelm, which was too transparent at that time. With this, his weakness was already revealed. Reinhardt instructed Wilhelm to summon Aelin, but he refused, stating that he had not returned yet. Reinhardt was uncomfortable with his behavior, as Wilhelm was the only one who looked at her in a strange manner. Reinhardt demanded him not to embarrass her and dragged her to the bathroom for foot washing. Reinhardt asked Wilhelm's opinion on the Emperor's proposal, which the knight called magnificent. Reinhardt argued that the Emperor was testing everyone around him. Wilhelm abruptly carried her to bed, leaving Reinhardt worried about his reaction. Despite Wilhelm's positive words, Reinhardt's concerns remained unresolved as to what he is thinking. Indeed, Wilhelm, who went out into the garden, looked gloomier than a cloud. He couldn't stand the fact that the Emperor was treating Reinhardt like a bargaining tool. He remembered Reinhardt smiled with a dimple on her left cheek, a gesture that she only showed to Dietrich. Wilhelm wanted her to show to it only to him. He was thinking to kill the emperor as what he did on his previous life. Michael's screams echoed through the garden, with maids and Dulcinea running after him. His wife tried to lead him back to his chambers, but Michael pushed her, and Wilhelm helped her. The crown prince was furious, as Wilhelm had no right to touch his wife. Wilhelm apologized for his ignorance of northeastern customs, but Michael reminisced about Wilhelm's origin, leading to a heated confrontation. Wilhelm intercepted Michael's arm, but Michael was weaker. Crown Prince threatened to kill Wilhelm, but he playfully pushed him into the grass. Dulcinea covered her mouth, and Michael fell unconsciously. William apologized and advised his wife to tell the prince was only dreaming after waking up. Dulcinea reveals that Wilhelm's actions were cruel but made him also in danger. He thanks her for her concern, and Dulcinea blushes. Wilhelm follows Michael, a scumbag who lost dignity at a banquet and remembered such trash had the same bed with Reinhardt. This angers Wilhelm, who wants to destroy him. Dulcinea suddenly turned to Wilhelm, smiling shyly at him, and the knight thought of something that still hadn't changed. Reinhardt already found Heitz Yelter, who was once in charge of the Helka estate's financial affairs in her previous life. He was the second son of Baron Yelter and worked as an official in the financial department. Reinhardt offered Heitz a job as the finance manager for Luden. She revealed that she found out that he had engaged in tax evasion of his superiors. He had been unhappy with his position as no one recognized his effort. Reinhardt offered him more opportunities, including working for her for 5 years and allowing him to go wherever he wanted without any obstacles. In the end, Heitz agreed. Now Reinhardt had the best financial officer in the entire empire working for her. The crown princess refused breakfast and dinner the previous night, leading to gossip and suspicions. Dulcinea was distressed by the gossip and the crown prince's behavior. After waking, Michael had a dream where he was drunk and Wilhelm threw profane words at him. He was upset with him as it was him who cursed that night. Dulcinea felt dizzy and stumbled, falling on Wilhelm, who was supporting her. Dulcinea was surprised to see Wilhelm in the crown prince's palace. Wilhelm had come just in case and had not thought of meeting her. He returned her handkerchief while Dulcinea accepted it and pressed it to her breast. Wilhelm volunteered to escort the crown princess inside if her condition worsened and asked to call for her maid. Dulcinea reacted emotionally to Wilhelm's suggestion to call for a maid, but accepted the help and assured him she could walk on her own. Wilhelm worries about rumors, but Dulcinea is no longer concerned about being discussed negatively. He was ready to dirty his body for Reinhardt. He remembered his previous life with the crown princess. She had slapped, belittle, and ridicule him. Wilhelm is disgusted by these memories and began to think of his beloved Reinhardt, who seems shrewd but is a warm escape for him. Dulcinea reaches for Wilhelm, covering her eyes but not feeling anything. He covers his mouth, never kissing the crown princess. Wilhelm was disgusted and apologized and left. Dulcinea rushed after him, but picked up a glove, making him appear shy. Reinhardt, as promised, had reinstated to Marchioness but failed to take Link's estate. With the crystal gate, she moved her father's coffin to Luden. Many lords gifted her for her being a great lord, but Reinhardt attributed all credit to Wilhelm, but he told them no matter what he gave her, the lord is still unsatisfied. She questioned Wilhelm's upsetness over the jewelry she didn't accept. He acted childish. She believed she would eventually lose room in Wilhelm's heart and accept the jewels and sincerity he had given her after her revenge. The emperor summons them for a secret meeting, where Wilhelm is presented with the Amaryllis plaque. He quickly tucks it away in his pocket. Reinhardt is thoughtful about the portrait of the first empress and the ring on her index finger, which seems familiar. The emperor expresses joy that his ancestors' wish of exterminating the barbarians is being fulfilled. Wilhelm inquired about Reinhardt's portrait, but Reinhardt clarified that Luden was a distant location and there was no portrait. Despite being the head of the land, Reinhardt wanted to take her past portrait with her, while the emperor promised to introduce Reinhardt to a good artist.